bold, be brave, be extraordinary, be vulnerable, be real, be curious, be true, be you. Welcome to Trusting Your Gut with world-class energy intuitive Katherine McIntosh, a show designed to awaken you to enjoy the process of evolving, have fun along the way, and learn to listen to those silent in-between moments. You are the expert of your own life, and nobody knows more about the next steps to take in your journey than you. So please, listen to your gut and discover what's waiting for you to explore. Here is your host, Katherine McIntosh.
All right, everyone, welcome to today's episode. I am very excited to be here, and we got a topic for you today that hopefully, if you listen, will contribute to you making small changes that end up creating a really big impact. And I want to talk about something that I call micro shifting. And so micro shifting is this idea that if you believe in, right? And it's so funny because so many people, when we start to make these shifts, it's like we don't believe it because we want to see it, right? But you can't see it until you start making the shifts underneath the surface that eventually lead to the results that you're looking for. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about micro shifting. And before we go into the details of things that you can implement into your daily practice, I want to just sort of bigger picture give something to you. So I am an ex-psychologist, studied therapy. I taught dance movement classes for 20 years. I was in the shamanic world, living in and experiencing shamans in the jungles of South America for 3. And I've kind of tried everything. And from where I was and from my background, now I had a very tumultuous childhood, as most people do. I had a very tumultuous 20s and even 30s. And, part of that stemmed from I didn't believe in myself. And I was always looking for resources and solutions and answers outside of myself. And it wasn't until I started to cultivate an internal practice of like truly getting to know myself in a way that I'd never done before. So it's interesting to me because most of us will spend a good majority of our time and energy getting to know someone else, right? If it's someone that works with us or for us, or we work for them, we get to know how the company runs, how they want the company run, or how, if it's a staff member, how can we learn about how they learn and how they work and what they value and what's important to them. And, no one thinks the way you think. No one sees the world the way you see the world. So you might be doing a really kind gesture. I remember years ago, someone had done something really nice for me, nice for the company, and I wanted to support their journey. So I did what I thought that is something that I would have wanted to receive, which was a bonus, right? Like a financial bonus. And I gave them this amount of money. And after that bonus, they stopped being good at what they did. They stopped helping grow the company. And it was like this really confusing thing in my world where I went, wait, what? I don't understand. They did an amazing job. I want to acknowledge that they did an amazing job. I thought that giving them money would be that acknowledgement. And actually, it wasn't where they were functioning from. They wanted more praise. They wanted more accolades. They wanted gifts in a different form other than financial. And it really floored me. And so oftentimes when we look at the bigger picture of life, we're like, we're here. Like, let's say we're, somewhere and we want to be somewhere else, right? We want to be farther along on our journey. And when there is a really big gap between where you are and where you want to be, so here's a perfect analogy, is if you were standing on the side of a cliff and you wanted to get to the other side of the cliff, you're not going to jump. But yet most of us in our brains are we're taught and entrained that there's supposed to be some miraculous leap or some miraculous solution or some miraculous answer. And that's not true. So if you think about standing on a cliff in order to get to the other side of the cliff, the best way to do it is to walk across a bridge. Now imagine some of these bridges in some of the most incredible places in the world where it's these wooden planks laid across, rope or wire. And how do you get there? You get there by one sort of plank at a time, one plank at a time, one step at a time. And then you quickly find yourself on the other side of that crevasse. And so life works a lot like that. Life works a lot like that. It's not one big leap. It is these small things like wooden planks across a wire or rope bridge that allow you to get to the other side, that allow you to get to where you are and to where you want to go. And so it's like life. If you've been struggling with your body or wanting to lose weight, or you have some massive pains, or you've been diagnosed with something, or you are ready to make a big leap in your career and maybe start your own thing or leave a company or go to a different company, those we think like, oh, it's got to be a big leap. And in the last several months, I have been laying the foundation for these small planks to get me across the crevice or the crevasse, however you want to say it. And what I found is that a lot of what I thought was true about life, about psychology, about energy, is actually I was going about it the wrong way, at least for me. So I'm going to share a little bit about that journey and a little bit of some of the things that I've been doing on a daily basis that are creating these wooden planks that allow me to close the gap, not take a scary leap that could be dangerous, that could be fatal across a giant gap in my life, right? And so that serves, and this metaphor and what I'm going to share with you can serve to be implemented in any and every area of your life. So, relationships. Maybe you are currently in a relationship where you're not feeling seen. Maybe you feel really depleted. Maybe you've tried therapy and that's not working. You've tried other things that's not working, and you're not sure what to do. And here's the deal. Nobody, nobody but you knows the best path to take. Nobody but you knows in your heart what you should do. And so I know that I am an amazing example of screwing up my life royally, of dating the wrong people for way too long, right? Of staying with people, whether it's business relationships or friendships or other relationships, way too long. And I've known to let go of them, but didn't know how. And in that process, I gave people all of my energy, but wasn't getting anything back. And so I learned to leap. But in that leap, I had to learn how to really cultivate some internal self sort of preservation, but get to know myself. And so recently I came up with this thing that I've been doing, and I was like, what do I call it? And it was like, okay, micro shifting, where you take small little shifts every day. And when you start taking those shifts, what happens is you shift your focus from what isn't happening in your life to what is happening in your life. I'm gonna say that again. So when you take these like sort of a micro shifting perspective, you start focusing on what is happening in your life instead of focusing on what isn't happening. And so oftentimes, right, we can get caught up in I feel lost. I feel hopeless. I don't know how to get where I want to go. And from that place, it will be very hard to get where you want to go. So you got to start where you are. You got to start small. And when you start small, you stop focusing on where you aren't and you start focusing on what you can do. So I'll give an example from my life. So recently, was putting together a project, thought the project was going to come through, and caught a person in a lie blatantly to my face. I knew it, and I knew not to go through with the project. And one of my friends said, "Oh, you must be so disappointed." And I said, "No, I've asked the universe to make it obvious, make it easy, make it fun. If that fell through, that means that something better is coming along." And lo and behold, it did. Right. And so in that process, when this person like lied to my face, I was like, I started to say, I'm so grateful that the truth got revealed. I'm so grateful that they sent a wrong text to me that was meant for someone else that was about me. I got that information. Why? Because I had asked for the universe to make it obvious, make it easy, make it fun. Right. And then I said, wow, I'm so grateful that I know not to go through with that. I'm so grateful that this person revealed who they are. So instead of focusing on, I can't believe they lied to me. I can't believe the project's not going to happen. I can't believe I put my time and energy in this. I can't believe, no, because that would create more of what I don't want. And so right away, just naturally, because I've been practicing this, I naturally went straight to the positive. I went straight to the possibility. I went straight to, I'm so grateful, right? Like I can now look back at my menopause journey where I've shared in previous episodes. There was a period of time where I was really depressed. I was anxiety ridden. I was having panic attacks, an extra 10 pounds around my belly that now, thanks to these micro shifting things, has totally changed. And so I look back now and I say, I'm so grateful I went through that painful experience. I'm so grateful I took time to slow down and start listening in a different way. I'm so grateful, right? Like I accidentally ended up shifting my diet. I'm so grateful that like I don't really eat meat anymore. Now, I'm not against it. I just know that eating more plant-based foods makes me feel good. So I'm in this like sort of obsession right now of I'm going to do things that make me feel good. So I meditate once in the morning, right when I got out of bed, and right as I'm tucking myself into bed, I do another meditation. Right. It's a micro shift. And when I'm meditating, so this is one of the practices, is when I'm meditating, and this is just what I'm learning is working for me right now. It might shift along the way as life does. It evolves, so we have to learn to evolve with it. AI is evolving, we're going to have to learn to evolve with it, right? Life is evolving, we learn how to evolve with it. And so and so I started to look at, wow, I'm so grateful for this process. So I do my morning meditation and my evening meditation. And in that process, I get a sense. I make a list. I've made a list of everything that I would like to see occur in my life. Where do I want to travel? Who do I want to work with in the world? What sorts of like, life do I want to have? What does my day look like? And I've been working on that for a long time. And then I get a sense of how does each thing on my list make me feel? I read it right before I go to bed, and then I play my little meditation. And in this meditation, I get a sense of like, how do all those things feel? Like the overarching feel of my life. How does it feel? And then I play my meditation and I start like really quieting my mind for the first 5-ish minutes. I empty out my head. I let go of the day. And then when I hit this like sweet spot in my world, and for me, my hands start buzzing, my feet start buzzing, my body feels really alive and relaxed. It's like I could fall asleep at any moment. And then I bring in that vision of what I want my life to look like. And then I feel myself how it feels as if that thing already happened, not what's it going to take to get there? But, wow, I'm there. Okay. If I'm there, how's that feel? How am I waking up? Where am I living? Who's in my life? What are the kinds of conversations I'm having with people? What are the experiences that I get to, go through every day? And then I start to get into this meditation of letting my body have those feelings. And I just ask my body to grow that energy. So it's a micro shift. And for some of you, like I've been doing it for a while. So I've hit this sweet spot right now. And some, in the beginning when I was trying this, it was like, nope, stay true to the vision. And then I'd be like, "Oh, but," and I'd come up with all the laundry list of ideas of everything that's in my way, of all the buts, of all the why I can't have what I'd like to create in the world, right? So it was this process of micro shifting my right, the way I see the world, the way I see what's possible. And then I do it in the morning, read the list, get in an infrared sauna blanket, right? Play the meditation. I do my meditations laying down. It works right now. Now, maybe in the future I'll do it sitting up. I don't know. But the point is that instead of focusing on what I don't have, oh my gosh, I, want to buy a bigger house. And if I want to buy a bigger house, I need a lot more money. If I need a lot more money, then I'm going to have to grow my business. And if I'm going to grow my business, I'm going to have to change some things. Like, do you see how you can get caught in trying to sort out how to get there? And it almost it's very rare that something can happen the way you calculate it, especially if you're an entrepreneur, right? Because here's the deal, every day it changes. If I were to if I were to try to create a business off of a business plan I would have written 5 years ago, that current business plan would be obsolete because technology is changing everything. AI is changing everything, right? And I shared with a group of people that I coach today. I said, look, like some people get really scared about what's happening with AI. And yes, there are some injustices, some notices of some programs that I currently use for the company and for my business. And I'm like, we might not want to be using them moving forward in the future. So we got to pivot and look at other systems to use that replicate the same thing in the same like desired result, right? And so the thing about life and about this evolutionary journey is you can't pre-calculate how. You have to do these micro shifts. So meditation, I made a list for y'all so I don't forget it, but micro shifting in these meditations, it's getting into this vision and then letting the vision come alive in the body as a feeling. The body is incredible at feeling, and most people get stuck on feeling anxious, feeling sad, feeling depressed, feeling worried, feeling fearful. And the body then generates a vibration based on a sense of lack. It's a feeling. But if you can start to practice, I'm going to give you a couple other tools besides the meditation. If you can practice picturing your dream life and then giving your body permission to feel how it feels, what you're doing is you're changing the story. All of us are good at feeling, right? It's just a matter of, are you feeling the things that are going to grow and evolve your life? Or are you feeling the things that feel really hard to navigate on a daily basis? So you just have to look at, right, which micro shifts can you make? And I'll give one more example. I used to go to therapy thinking if I talked about my problems would resolve. No, I just got more problems. It didn't work that way. And one of the things I've been doing in this micro shifting is I have been doing a 5-minute routine, maybe sometimes 10 minutes in the morning, that is somatic exercises. And these somatic exercises rewire the nervous system. They balance out the nervous system. They lower cortisol, right? Cortisol maintains weight on people. So if you're trying to diet and you're really stressed out and you're in fight or flight, you're not going to lose weight, even if you're barely eating. Especially if you're barely eating, because now you just stressed out your system even more, and that cortisol level spikes even higher, and then your fight or flight gets pretty, like, activated, right? And so these little things that you can do, right? These somatic exercises, you can find them online. I've recently created a video. We're going to post it on my website for sale. It's a 27-minute video on all different somatic exercises that you can do. But what I'm finding is when I do these somatic exercises 5 minutes a day, sometimes less if I'm in a hurry. And what these somatic exercises are doing are calming the nervous system, lowering the cortisol, balancing out the hormones, right? And those little tiny exercises are making a very long, big term effect. And so when I do the somatic exercises, micro shifting, somatic exercises, it's a part of my day. I don't let myself miss it because I got hooked on how it makes me feel every morning. It makes me feel relaxed, inspired, energized. I get creative ideas. And so each of you probably is navigating some form of invisible stress in your body that is not allowing you to sort of cycle through a different wave of energy, a different possibility, right? And so these somatic exercises, you can find them online. You can probably find them on Instagram. You can certainly go to my website. You can download, get one for yourself to listen to do. You just need a little room on your floor, right? And to be able to lay down and do some certain things. Now, I've seen somatic exercises done sitting where they're doing like opposite hand, right? Tapping opposite shoulder, tapping opposite knee. I do this one, right? In when I use my body to muscle test whether I should, do something or not, whether it's in alignment. So we'll do one more and then we're going to take a break and continue our conversation. And so this you've got the first one is the meditation. The second one is the somatic exercises, right? They go really great hand in hand if you do them together. My pattern is to do the meditation first and then to do the somatic exercises, right? And then third one is it goes along with sort of energizing your vision for your future. And here's what I'll say about it is dream big. Dream even bigger. And then dream even more than that. Your life will start to propel you forward if you maintain your dreams. So those of you watching on a screen, I'll show you an example. So this is a rubber band, right? And let's say in my left hand is where I am. And in my right hand, I'm going to grab that rubber band. I'm going to stretch it out as much as it can, is where I want to be, right? And what happens is for most of us is we get really excited initially about the possibility of a future difference. The possibility of a future difference. And when we get the possibility of a future difference, there's tension, right? We're like, okay, now I've got a ton of tension. What happens when there's too much tension? One of these sides of the rubber band is going to have to give in, or the rubber band's going to break. Well, we don't want the rubber band to break for today's sort of explanation. And so what happens for most people is they hold the dream for a little bit and they're like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to wake up every day. I'm going to eat healthy. Oh my gosh, I started to lose weight. Okay, now I can eat whatever I want. Oh my God. And then what happens is they lose sight of the dream and they lose sight of the feeling good, and they go back into their doubt and they go back into their past reference and they say, see, I'll never be able to do it. Never doesn't last long term. Something must be flawed. I just don't have any self-control. I've never been able to do it. And then they start the negative self-talk. And all of a sudden that tension that was created, that was about to literally create some forward momentum. So when you create too much tension, one of these has got to give. And what most people do is too much tension. What gives is they let go of their dreams. They let go of their vision. But if you hang on to that vision and you start to no longer pay attention to the negative self-talk, to the doubts, to the haters, to those that don't have your best interest at heart, eventually you're going to keep hanging on to your dreams, keep hanging on to your dreams, keep hanging on to your dreams, keep hanging on to your dreams. And guess what? That you're like, I can't hang on to my doubts and fears and worries anymore. And it propels you into forward momentum. So that's my little explanation. We are going to talk a little bit more about these little things that you can implement, and I'll give you number 3 when we get back from the break.
OMTimes TV.
Do you trust you? Do you trust your body? What if the key to unlocking the weight, pain, suffering, fear, anxiety, addictions, traumas, and sorrows was already inside of you? Learn to love the skin you are in so you can create the body, business, and life you love. Everyone always says you can't explain what Katherine does, you just have to experience it. From Hollywood actors to New York Times best-selling authors to some of the world's wealthiest and most successful, no two experiences are the same. For private sessions, online courses, live events, and the latest book Jack Canfield calls Game Changer and should be required reading for everyone, go to KatherineMcIntosh.com. KatherineMcIntosh.com.
Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Okay, so welcome back. We are talking about micro shifting, and it's these small little things that you can do every day that will eventually lead up to a really big moment. And there's one thing I want to say about this micro shifting that I think is really cool is in the beginning, it'll feel like you're faking it. In the beginning, it'll feel like, well, it's not happening. It's not true. You want me to do this, but I don't see the results. I don't believe it's possible. And then there's this one moment where it's like you have like a eureka epiphany moment, right? And you're like, oh my God, I just felt that energy. Wow, something feels different. And that's when there's some forward momentum and it can build really quickly the more that you practice. So the first two exercises are just options that we gave you. Is one is to create a meditation practice. And I do a meditation practice to create my dreams, to get inside the feelings and sensations of what it feels like to be living my ideal life. So I've got my body in there in my vision. I've got my health in there in my vision. I have my son in there in my vision and the life I want to create with him, right? I look at my business and what I want to be doing in the world and the impact. So I have all of these little things. Relationship is in there, but it's not really my focus right now. So it's like on the side, it's percolating for when it's ready. And so I take these aspects of my life and I start to create these visions. And in that vision, it's just it all of a sudden it doesn't feel like it's real. It sort of feels like a fraud. You feel like you're fake, but all of a sudden without much effort. And here's what I think is really that I've discovered with this micro shifting is it doesn't feel hard. And it doesn't feel like it's effort because it's small little choices that become habit. And once it's a habit, it just is so natural. Right. I've been able to heal a 20-year experience with not really liking myself, right? Not liking my body. Been able to heal, just the mental aspects of what happens when you don't like your body and the yo-yoing and the emotional roller coaster. And it's something, to be honest, I never thought I'd be able to heal. So you get into these meditative states and you start practicing the vision of it, and then you start feeling how it feels. How does it feel? And one of my favorite things, and this is actually from Dr. Joe Dispenza, it's this idea of to walk as if. Walk as if your perfect relationship is here, right? What are you doing? What kinds of conversations are you having? What car are you driving? What adventures are you taking? Like put yourself in that vision, in that picture, and then how does it feel, right? Most visions, when we think about them, they feel alive. They feel good. They feel inspiring. And so you want to walk as if. And I remember last summer, I was in Cancun. I was able to do a week-long retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And if any of you ever get the chance, one, look him up. He's got some incredible books that have incredible information on how to make these sort of shifts in your life, right? And And I was on this walk. I was struggling with menopause. I was struggling with my body image. I was struggling with my weight. I had thought I had fixed that problem, but all of a sudden, hormones and life happens, and I find myself really at a loss and confused as to what's happening to my body, right? And I'm having like bursts of anger and all this stuff which I talked about earlier. And so I practice walking as if in these meditations that he would do on the beach. I would walk as if I already had my perfect body. I would walk as if I was confident. I would walk as if I had energy. I would walk as if I could run comfortably because I wasn't able to do my workouts that I normally do. And when I first did it, I was like, I feel like I'm lying. Like, look at my body. It's not where I want it to be. Look, I'm struggling with food right now. Look, I'm struggling with my self-esteem and my image. Like, this isn't me. This is a not familiar experience, right? And so, yeah, um, cool. So happy to take that in a second. And so we go into these micro shifts. And it's like that what you're doing is you're setting your brain up to wire for believing it's possible for you. The reason why most people try and leap and aren't successful is because they're trying to leap from a mindset that doesn't believe it's possible. The reason why micro shifting is so important, and we do have a live caller that wants to ask about it, we'll take in a second, is the reason why it doesn't work is because you gotta leap from a place of believing. You gotta leap from having a good foundation. So let me finish this idea of this walk as if. So you're gonna walk as if it's already happening. I'll tell you, last year in Cancun, putting on a bikini was really uncomfortable. I didn't like it. And I was like, okay, what if I just pretend that my body is great? What if I pretend there's no problems? And slowly but surely, after I got back from Cancun, I started to make micro shifts and I started to change the way I was eating, not from force, but because my belief system had changed. I started to imagine that it could be possible for me to navigate this world of menopause that many women talk about. And wow, I didn't pay attention until it started happening to me. And then I went, whoa, I better start paying attention. Right. So it's these tiny little things, but it's that feeling of what does it feel like? So, let's get to Julia's question. If we can bring her on, I will answer this question and I'll read it out loud and yep.
Hello,
Hi, Julia.
Katherine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I have your question here. It says you want to know how some people make giant leaps instead of needing
Yes.
to do micro shifting. It's a great question. And, I used to have that point of view, right? Like, why are some
Mhm.
people seeming to have these giant successes or these giant, like, beautiful experiences, and I'm not getting
Mhm.
those? What am I doing
Yeah.
wrong? And
Sometimes overnight.
well, that's what you think, Julia.
Mhm.
That's what you think, but here's what we don't see, is we don't see
Yeah.
all the work underneath the surface that they've been doing to get them there,
Mhm.
right? I mean, do you literally know of one person that is a real life example where they weren't doing any work to improve their life or their business or their relationships and then just overnight had an unexplainable success? Or is it when you see
No, not.
people succeeding, you go, "Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, that feels like it happened overnight."
No, but what I mean, I know people who just decided what they want and they immediately started to work towards that, and not instantly, but after a while they get what they wanted in like maybe a matter of years, very quickly and very rapid. That the
Yeah.
transformation was huge.
So I'm going to point something out that you said that is crucial in that working. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the missing piece for most people, which is they make a commitment to go after it. They make a demand, or they, like, I don't know the exact words you used, but they said they made a
Mm-hmm.
decision
Mm-hmm.
to change their life. And then they start working on changing their life. In just a few years, all of a sudden their life changes. Well, it's not like they made the decision and then waited for the change to appear.
Mm-hmm.
They made the decision and then they started doing what I'm calling micro shifting. Someone else might call it a routine, someone else might call it self discipline. But in the process of
Mm-hmm.
making that commitment, what happens when you make the commitment? No matter what it takes, no matter what I'm going to, it's not a no matter what, I'm never going to eat chocolate again, right? That's an unrealistic commitment, right?
Yeah.
It's a no matter what, I'm going to go after this thing that I don't yet have. And what happens when they make that commitment, they're then also changing small habits underneath the surface.
Mm-hmm.
So Julia, can you give me an example of a dream that you would like to have happen?
Yes, it's a really long time dream. I would like to visit Brazil, but like a star, not like an ordinary person, you know.
Okay, cool. So do you believe it's possible?
Yeah, I always believe it's possible.
Okay. And so how critical are you of the timeline of that happening?
Yeah, I'm not so critical, yeah.
So let me ask you something. Is there something that you could start doing on a daily basis that would get you closer to feeling like going to Brazil like a star is closer than feeling far
Visualizing,
away?
maybe?
Sorry?
Visualizing. It's something I could do every day.
Yeah. So you could start listening to Brazilian music or watching Brazilian TV and be like, wow, I'm going to be on that TV, right? You could
Mhm.
but
Right.
while you're doing it, you walk as if you're already in Brazil.
Mhm.
So let me ask you something. If you were already about to pack your bags for that trip to Brazil, that dream that you've always dreamed of, that you know is possible,
Mhm.
because right now I'm going to be a little harsh with you. You're not really doing a whole lot to to
Yeah.
put that dream in place. You're just like, well, how come it's not happening? Right?
Right.
Wrong place to
Right.
function from in order to have that show up. So it's the night before, you're packing your bags, you're getting ready for this thing. You're going to have people pick you up and drop you off, and you've got your flight settled, and you're staying in a five-star hotel, and maybe you're having coffee with some people you've always wanted to meet, and maybe you're going to be on,
Mhm.
feeling like a star. Right? It's the
Yeah.
night before and you're packing your bags and you can see the colors and the scarves and the bikinis and everything you wanna have in your bag. How are you feeling?
Oh, um, amazing. I cannot describe it with words.
Exactly. So, are you doing anything on a daily basis to get into the feeling of feeling so amazing that you can't describe it?
I do some things, but then if one day I skip doing that, I get mad and I said, gosh, it was something so small, like 5 minutes, and I didn't do that today. How possible? How it's possible? So, um, yeah.
So you gotta, yeah, I mean, you're on the right track, Julia, but you just have to be more diligent, right? Like I work with a lot of
Mhm.
really incredible people. And, one of them said to me the other day, I can't believe you said that. And I was like, I said, "Look, you're not paying me to be light and fluffy for you. You got enough people in your
Yeah.
life that tiptoe around you or that are overly nice to you, right?" I'm like, "You're paying me because I'll tell you the truth. And you are doing a
Mhm.
good job and you are close, but you get in your own way by thinking it's not possible for you. You've told me with your words that you believe it's possible, but there's an energy in your body, right, that is
Yeah.
showing up that
Right.
has that doubt." And, I don't know if
Mhm.
you are watching the video stream or you're just on the radio stream, but like the rubber band example, when you
Yeah, I
when
saw it.
you let doubt win, you give up on your dreams. And
Mhm.
so if instead next time, here's something you're gonna do. You catch yourself missing your 5 minutes. It's not about doing the 5 minutes every day. Like, I missed my micro shifting this weekend. 'Cause I had so much fun. I got to meet with friends and go out dancing and be ridiculous, and I hadn't done that in a really long time, and it was, like, exactly what I needed. Do you think that I woke up on Saturday and, got done with my client Saturday and went, "Oh my god, I didn't do my 5 minutes." No. I
No.
was like, "Thank you, universe, for one of the best days I've had in a really long time. Thank you for
Mhm.
letting me dance all night," right? And so it's it's the moments where you catch that you're down on missing a moment in time
Mhm.
that you go, "Okay, cool. I'm recognizing I missed that. What would I do different next time?" Right? Because 5 minutes you can do while you're walking, while you're driving your car, while you're, you know, like, in transition from one place. You can do it while you're cooking, while you're washing dishes. Like, you don't have to do it in a perfect way. There are days I miss my meditation, like this morning. I listened to the meditation while I was walking.
Mhm.
Right? So what happens is the feeling of how it feels to feel how your dreams feel feels so good that you don't wanna miss that feeling.
Mhm.
And when you start doing that, because if you're doing it for, "I want it to show up, I want it to show up, I want it to show up, I want it to show up," it's never gonna show up.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm gonna listen again this everything you told me
Yeah.
because it makes
So
sense.
let me give you an example because I think it'll also land, and then listen, and I'm glad you asked the question. And this is micro shifting. Micro shifting is discovering those tiny little things that you're doing that are getting in the way of what you want. And I did a practice a while ago where I wrote down, and this is actually another Joe Dispenza thing, is he said, make friends with thoughts you're having every day that are not serving your future.
Mhm.
So I started writing down all the little thoughts that I had about, "Oh, it's not possible. Oh, it's gonna take a long time. Oh, it's hard. Oh, well, I haven't done the work. Oh, well, I need to," like, whatever those thoughts are. And then I got really good at looking at them. And I got really good at looking for them in my daily life. And when those thoughts would show up, I went, "Stop," and I'd micro shift it into a positive.
Yeah.
So so I'll share the example after you hang up, Julia, but I just wanna
Mhm.
thank you for calling in, and we take live callers every week, sort of
Thank
give
you.
you, a window into where you're stopping yourself because we all have blind spots, I have them too, and sometimes we just
Mhm.
need someone to be able to point it out to us. So thanks for calling in, Julia, and then I'm gonna give the example
Thank
of
you.
something that happened
Bye.
today with someone I was working with. Okay. So this example of this woman is, oftentimes we're like, "Well, I'll do this when." So she was talking about how she had bought a swimsuit to wear this summer, and she was like, she bought the swimsuit and she was like, "I'm gonna get myself to look really good in this swimsuit." So she bought a swimsuit that she might not have worn in her current body, and she went, "You know what? I'm going to work on getting myself to be able to wear the swimsuit." And she's like, "I'm going to, do the exercise. I'm going to do the diet. I'm going to start looking good. I'm going to start doing this stuff." And I did a course a couple weeks ago, a 5-day challenge, and we're going to do it again pretty soon, so you guys can be on the lookout for it. But we did this 5-day challenge, and in this 5-day challenge, she started to change her mindset. She started to micro shift, started to do things of gratitude and walk as if, and do these little somatic exercises that helped heal her nervous system. And as she was doing those, she noticed that she started feeling better about her body. So she'd look in the mirror and she'd be like, "Oh my God, my body feels really good." In her mind, when she bought the swimsuit, she said, "I'm going to buy this so I can lose the weight, so I can get into the swimsuit, so I can feel good." And somewhere either during the challenge that we did, it was called the Breakthrough Body Challenge, and we'll do it again in a couple weeks. So she did it, and and she went, "Wait a second. What if I put this suit on and see if I could feel good in the suit now?" Right? So I don't have to wait to lose the weight. I can start feeling good now. I'm going to feel as if I'm in my body in a different way. And she put the suit on and she said, "You know what? It felt so good. I had no judgment. I felt alive. I felt exactly the way I wanted to feel, thinking that I could only feel that way if I lost the weight." And we do this to ourselves all the time. When I have the money, then I'll feel good, then I'll spend it, or then I'll invest it, or then I'll start a new business, or then we do that. When I have, then all. It doesn't work that way. So Julia's question is, she wants to know how some giant leaps instead of needing to do microshift. They are doing the microshifting in their own way. And you know what? I'm just sharing things that I did. But the most successful people, I'm a junkie for listening to them, for studying them, for getting to hang out with some of them. And, the reason why you see all of a sudden, it's like as if they had, a giant leap. It wasn't a giant leap. I mean, it shows up like it's a giant leap, but it's these small things every day that they do to change how they feel, to believe in what's possible. And I promise you, I've been around in this industry for a long time. I mean, I don't know anybody, right, that hasn't put in the work, right? But it does sometimes, it can seem like, well, wow, overnight success. No, they've been doing the work. They've been putting in the time. They've been shifting their habits. They've been shifting their mindset. They've been cultivating self-awareness. They've been, able to meditate or do energy work. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. As long as when you're doing it, right, it is setting you up for long-term feeling good. Long-term feeling good. And on those days you don't feel good, it's not about getting down on yourself that you don't feel good. It's going, "Wow, I'm so grateful." So the other day I woke up grumpy and I was like, "I'm so grateful I'm so tired, because that means I had a really good night last night." So a couple, I don't know when it was. I went to bed 3 in the morning. Right? I normally go to bed by 9 or 10. This summer, I've broken all the rules, right? And and I was like, "Wow, I'm so grateful. I'm so tired," because that means I was up all night in my business and I'm excited again and I'm motivated again and I'm inspired to create new things. And that means I was creating all night long. That must have been a really good night. So it's finding those moments in which you get down on yourself and you go, you know what? I'm going to shift this. I'm so grateful that person, right, accidentally texted me and showed me the truth of who they are. Whoops. Wow. I'm so grateful that I knew that a better opportunity, a better possibility would come along. Ding, better possibility came along. So micro shifting, whatever you want to call it, is these tiny little things that you can do every day, tiny little movements and catches you can do every day to catch yourself in the moment, so that you can begin to rewire your brain, rewire your body, rewire your cells to program you and prime you for exactly what you want to be living. And my friends, dream bigger, go bigger, bigger beliefs, and then know that no matter what, you are enough. You are lovable and you are worthy, and you can have anything you want if you put your mind to it and you keep practicing putting your mind to it. So, thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for calling in. For any of you listening, take live callers. May not be fun or pretty, but I promise I will give you some information that hopefully will support you in your journey so that you can get exactly where you want to go. So, thanks for listening and see you next time.
Katherine is not a medical practitioner nor a licensed therapist. She has strong opinions and will express them, and truly believes that you are your best advocate for any and every area of your life. If you need medical advice, please consult your physician.